And a hearty good evening to you, wherever you may be. Once again, it is time for the ChampCast. What is it? Champion Brothers ChampCast, Bubba's Big Broadcast, or
Let's talk some Southern gospel.
yes, look way over there, to the other side is Neal. Yeah. And then look, there's Scott right there in the middle of all people.
Sandwiched, I'm talking about.
I was like, Scott, I don't know if you need to get a phone book to sit on or I need to lower my chair, but it looks I'm way up higher than you are.
I am the shorter one, so we're pretty much to scale.
And look, if I look away from him, I'm really looking at him.
Yeah, exactly. I've said that the same thing. If I want to look at y'all, I got to turn that way. So, which seems the opposite. Technology is great till it ain't. But anyway,
right.
After a week or so off, I was thinking about y'all remember Prairie Home Companion and Garrison Keeler. It's like, well, to paraphrase Garrison Keeler, it has not been a quiet week here lately. Will be gone. But right. We've had a lot of stuff going on. Sorry we missed y'all last week, but glad to be here tonight. I think we are anyway. We'll check with the people in headquarters. Let me see if we're actually really on the air or not. And yes, yeah, right there we are. Okay. I just had to check on the face bag and the tweeter and all that, as James says, and make sure we were still there. But yes, we are here. And the headline that we want to talk about is something that's very special coming up a week from Saturday night. Take it away, Neal.
And for that, I say, take it away, Scott.
All right. Hey, yeah, we are super excited, or as Jared Goff would say, super excited about what's coming up. And exactly.
This.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, what's coming up, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, July the 29th. 6 p.m. at the Fett Civic Center in Fett, Alabama. We are going to be hosting the Tribute Quartet from Nashville, Tennessee, one of the top male quartets in Southern Gospel on the road, and just no doubt about it. And, of course, they're going to be joined by faithful friends and chosen witness, and we're going to have an awesome time of Southern Gospel music, a great night of worship, praising the Lord, and we want y'all to come and join us. And come looking for a blessing, because I believe if you come looking for a blessing, you're going to leave with one.
Absolutely.
Yes, totally sir. So let me do this and this. So just something about I can't be in the middle. I don't know what it is. Gunslinger syndrome or something. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. Do we want to recap what's been going on the last couple of weeks, Neal, or how much? I don't know how much you want to get into all of it, but
yeah, we can at least touch on it. Yeah, our mom, bottom line, mine and Chris's mom, Laverne Champion, has been very, very sick.
Yeah,
and, she wound up spending many days in the ICU, followed by many days in the step down unit, as it's called. But yeah, we're shouting hallelujah today. Mama is home as of today.
Yes,
it's great. I think I can already see improvement. I just knew once we got her here that she'd start improving even faster. And I can always
listen, they're going crazy.
And hey, Mom, I hope we don't say anything we shouldn't, because I know you're watching too.
Yes.
But yeah, that just kind of changes your week up, and what you thought it might be, it ain't anymore. And you just have to kind of go with the flow when something like that's going on. And so, yeah, that's where me and Chris have been basically for the last 2 weeks. But we still been talking about this singing coming up on the 29th. And I believe that tribute is coming to Fayette Civic Center, but they are. They promised me they'd be there. So
it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And also the other thing that kind of went on, well, let's see. Now I want to say hey to some folks, because we're getting some rapid stuff in here. First, I want to say a big shout out and a howdy to my buddy Tuff Stripling. Yes, that is his birth certificate name, Tuff, Tuff Stripling. Right. And he has had a rough week, and his uncle passed away a little over a week ago. And so he and that whole family, if y'all have ever heard of OP's Tees and OP Morgan and his family, his son Derek passed away a week ago Saturday. And I've got that family in their prayers, but Tuff's already checked in tonight. I appreciate that, buddy, and hope y'all can come be with us at the Civic Center a week from Saturday. And then some other folks chiming in on the comments, none other than Billy Boo Boo Shaw. Boo, you need to update your picture there. That's oh, wait, no, that's a grand youngin'. I forgot about that. He says, glad you're back. And Megan Edgeworth says, good evening, guys. And Robert Bradford, is that feet? Oh, no, I couldn't see. That's hands raised. Okay.
I don't know about his next comment.
But then he said, Curly, Larry, and Mo. Come on, Robert. Come on, man.
Here we thought we were friends.
I think I'm about Curly. It's about gone. So we're getting there.
Hey, Mo.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Enough of that.
Sorry, Mama.
But it's an up and down because it's been that way with Mom for the last 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks ago today that she went to the hospital, and they decided to keep her for a while. But glad that she is home. Miss Judy Armstrong says, good to see y'all back. There's Jason Bain saying, evening fellers. Okay. Yeah. Evening. Oh, yeah. Okay. Robert says, you know I love you guys. Well, yeah. Duh. You only pick on people you like. Isn't that what they say or something like that?
There you go.
But
right.
A week ago Tuesday, Johnny Duren, founding member of Faithful Friends, got promoted to glory is the way I like to look at it. You talk about losing somebody. Well, if they're lost, you don't know where they are. And I believe I know where Johnny is. Now, I can't claim that for certain, but I know the life he lived, and I believe that he is celebrating with his Savior today. And had a wonderful service last Friday, and our prayers are still with his wife, Carol, and his son, 2 daughters, grandkids, all that, and just keeping those folks in our prayers. And we're going to talk a little bit about Johnny. I was looking at the calendar today. It was a year and 2 weeks ago, as of tonight, that Johnny was our guest, and he was living in Aberdeen at the time. And I pulled a few of those little cuts from him talking about some of his songs, because Neal, did you ever ask Johnny? I was thinking about this the other day, how many songs he wrote.
I did one time, but he said, oh, I don't know. Kind of his answer. I don't think he had a hard count, but yeah, many.
I think a conservative would be in the hundreds. Now, I don't know how many were actually sung and recorded and all that. I know he had given me a bunch of tracks, and the vast majority of the ones that he had done were songs that he had written. And I think there was about 60 or 70 of those, wow, that had been recorded at some point or another. Yeah. And, just missing Johnny, but rejoicing in the fact that those of us that know the Lord are going to get to be with him a whole lot longer than we're going to be without him from That's now right. till whenever it's our turn to go. And remembering that a whole lot. So do you want to just dive into those the little videos and stuff, Neal, or we didn't really do a template or an outline for tonight. We're just kind of winging it. That's but right. Let's go back, if I can get everything going here like it's supposed to be. This is something new that we hadn't tried before. But the song that he wrote called The Flowers Still Bloom. I went back last week and I found the first recording, or the recording of the first singing that Johnny and Ken Cook and I did. We didn't even have a name yet. It was just that here's the group when they introduced us. And we sung The Flowers Still Bloom that day. And more often than not, it was a whole lot fewer singings that we did not sing Flowers Still Bloom that we did. But we talked about that when we had Johnny on a little over a year ago. And I don't even remember how that's set up. But we're gonna go back in time a little bit and listen to Johnny Duren talk about his song called The Flowers Still Bloom, and then we'll play it.
So why don't you share just a little bit about that? Let's hear Faithful Friends just a little bit about doing that one.
Well, as I was growing up, my grandmother was a great spiritual influence in my life, because I went to church with her. I walked down a little dirt road to the church with her sometimes, and every time I got around her, she was always witnessing about her Jesus. It wasn't just Jesus. It was, let me tell you what my Jesus has done for me. Mm-hmm. So after I started writing songs, I wanted to do something to honor her. And it's hard to come up with an idea sometime. But one day, Carol and I, my wife Carol and I, were riding down a little country road, and there was an old house place out there that was just about to fall down. But the little yellow flowers were blooming in the weeds, and the wisteria going up the pine trees. She said, "Isn't it amazing how the flowers still bloom around an old home place long after the person that's planted them is gone?" And I just kind of said, "Yeah, it is." And, but I knew I had an idea for my song then. And it's really just about going back to an old home place that you knew as you were growing up, remembering all the good times there. And here it is. It's called The Flowers Still Bloom.
Grandma once rocked me here and sang for hours while she taught me the way I should be and worked in her flowers. She told me all about how her Jesus would save me from sin. But now the weeds and vines have grown where once love had been. The flowers still bloom every spring around the old home place. In memory I still see her sweet loving face. The old house is falling down, destruction and doom. Though it's been years, I see through my tears, the flowers still bloom. I almost smell those homemade rolls from her old cook stove. And I recall how we'd walk to church down that old dirt road. Neglect and decay now claim this place once so full of love. But the caretaker has gone on to live in heaven above. But flowers still bloom every spring around the old home place. In memory I still see her sweet loving face. The old house is falling down, destruction and doom. Though it's been years, I see through my tears, the flowers still bloom. Flowers still bloom every spring around the old home place. In memory, I still see her sweet loving face. The old house is falling down, destruction and doom. Though it's been years, I see through my tears, the flowers still bloom. Though it's been years, I see through my tears, the flowers still bloom.
That's Faithful Friends and the Flowers Still Bloom. Remembering Johnny Duren on this episode of the Champ Brothers broadcast, or whatever it's called. I don't know. I can't ever get it right. But glad to have Scott Bolden with us tonight. I muted y'all's microphones, boys, so I'm trying to unmute them now. There we go.
Not good?
And,
Yeah, I think I'm on.
And remembering that. And but yeah, we Faithful Friends, Ken said, I want to sing Flowers Still Bloom. And we sung that the last couple of times that we've sung, and remembering Johnny, and probably will keep on singing it because it's Johnny. It wasn't in that clip, but right after we played that song, when we had Johnny on, he said, rare is the time that we sing that and you don't see a tear in somebody's eye. And I was thinking about that when I wrote up a little thing that we posted on Faithful Friends page last week. And it was Johnny's songs could bring a smile to your face and laughter to your heart, could bring a tear to your eye or conviction to your heart. Whatever the situation called for, he had a song for it. And we miss him terribly. Carol's tuned in tonight. Thank y'all. Miss him so much. He loved y'all and we loved him. Love you too, Carol. Appreciate you stopping by tonight. And Wanda Mitchell says, we miss you, Johnny Duren. Yes, ma'am. And amen to that. But remembering some of the happy times with Johnny, and we were talking about, we had him on a little over a year ago. And when we started singing his Faithful Friends, we kind of learned these two songs at the same time because they kind of went hand in hand. And you'll understand why when we go back and visit with Johnny in a song that both Chosen Witness and Faithful Friends record. Well, I just stepped on your intro, Neal, because I think it's on here. But a song called Somebody's Been Praying for Me. Let's listen in to Johnny Duren from about a year ago.
How about we go and get, I'll say that Chosen Witness originally released this song back in 2002, but in later days, it's been covered by Faithful Friends. And that's what I want to share. Faithful Friends singing, Somebody's Been Praying for Me.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about that song, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I had done that song about the flowers still bloom, about my grandmother over in Moody, Alabama. And Chris played this and talked about this the other day. He just about got it down pat. But anyway, I'd like to tell it. When we got through doing the song about the flowers still bloom, a gentleman over in the back corner of the church stood up and said, let me tell you about your grandmother. And I was in Moody. I grew up in Gordo, Alabama. I didn't know anybody from Gordo. He was actually from Gordo. The preacher was from Gordo, and I knew him, but I didn't know he had brought, people's guests there from Gordo. But anyway, this guy stood up and he said, let me tell you about your grandmother. He said, I worked in a factory, worked an evening shift and got home around midnight. So one night, one of my little boys, he had two small boys. I don't know how old they were, but he just said he had two small boys. And one of them was real sick with a high fever that night when he got home. And Gordo didn't have a doctor at that time, and he would have had to drive all the way back to Tuscaloosa, where he had just come from his work. He said, so I just got in my car and drove about 4 miles out in the country to your grandmother's house and woke her up and asked her to pray for him. He said, it was raining on the old tin roof, and he said, I hardly heard anything she said. She just mumbled a few little words and went back inside. He said, I didn't know what to do, but just get in my car and go home. So when I got home, the boy's temperature was gone and he was playing and feeling good. And that's where this song came from, called Somebody's Been Praying for Me.
When my child was sick and so in need of a healing touch, when my faith was weak and I needed prayer oh so much, I had friends and family who would get down on their knees, and in the name of Jesus they would pray for my needs. Somebody's been praying for me. Somebody's been praying for me. I feel a host of angels all around me. The mighty prayer warriors are at it again. Oh, Satan may as well not begin. He doesn't stand a chance, you see. Somebody's been praying for me. When you're feeling down and out and your back's against the wall, and you think taking one more step will surely make you fall, call your team of warriors who will pray to Christ our King, and in just a little while you'll begin to sing. Somebody's been praying for me. Somebody's been praying for me. I feel a host of angels all around me. The mighty prayer warriors are at it again. Oh, Satan may as well not begin. He doesn't stand a chance, you see. Somebody's been praying for me. if any two of us shall agree on earth as touching anything that we shall ask, it shall be done for us of our Father in heaven. Heaven. Somebody's been praying for me. Somebody's been praying for me. I feel a host of angels all around me. The mighty prayer warriors are at it again. Oh, say the days will not begin. He doesn't stand a chance, you see. Somebody's been praying for me. Somebody's been praying. Somebody's been praying. Praying. Somebody's been praying for me. Somebody's been praying for me. I feel a host of angels all around me. The mighty prayer warriors are at it again. Oh, Savior, may his will not begin. He doesn't stand a chance, you see. Somebody's been praying for me. He doesn't stand a chance, you see. Somebody's been praying. Somebody's been praying. Somebody's been praying for me.
That's Faithful Friends, and Somebody's Been Praying for Me, song written by Johnny Duren. And remembering Johnny tonight as we, and I'm getting an echo. Is that me? Did I do something? I don't know. I'll fight through it. Are y'all hearing an echo on my mic?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't know what's going on.
Now it's gone.
Okay. I don't know what happened, but anyway. I've outsmarted myself more than once already tonight because when I was making these little video clips, I was like, oh yeah, I had one of the water park shirts on. I'll just wear that same thing and maybe it won't confuse him. And there's been a couple of times when I was playing those video clips and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Because I like raised my hand or something. And I was like, well, my camera not? Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. Oh, okay. Telling y'all, you got to work hard to be as dumb as I am sometimes, but, But let's do one more. And Neal, you do a good job of setting this up from the video, but it's a song that Johnny recorded when he was with Chosen Witness, which he was for 8 years. Is that right?
8 years, yeah.
But a song that, from the Word project that Chosen Witness did called When the Waters Part. Well, let's let Johnny tell you about that one here.
It was called When the Waters Part, Start Walking. And I always love that message in that song. Is there anything pop in your mind particularly you'd like to share about how that was?
It's just like when Moses parted the waters. You can't just stand around and see if they're going to close back up, and you can't stand there and ask, wonder if that sea bottom's really dry or where Pharaoh's army is. So all of that's in there. It's just right. from that Bible story.
If they hadn't started walking, it'd just been a lot of drowning, wouldn't it?
That's right. That's right.
So
that's the way we are, when he opens a door for us, we got to go through that door, and I think that's the course line, the bridge line that you do on that, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. It drives home that point for sure. So and
one other thing I'll say right there.
Okay.
Dottie Rambo says, marry your music to the lyrics. And I don't know if you notice it or not too much there when you're doing that bridge. When the door opens and you must go through, it goes to a different chord right there, a 7 flat chord or whatever. But it's just like you can almost hear that door going through, opening up.
Cool.
So that's some of the little things that I try to throw into songs to make them really, I don't know, complete, I guess.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's all I got for you.
Yeah, that was from a project the Chosen Witness did back in about 2004, I think. The project was called From the Word, where every song was scriptural based. And, of course, this one is from the story of Moses leading the children of Israel out. So, yeah, let's hear When the Waters Part. Walk.
The Lord Lord to help you find a way through your burdens and your trials each day. When the answer comes, then you must show you have the faith to make that mountain go. Don't stand around thinking about how tall that wall of water is, or if that sea bottom's really dry. Don't spend your time wondering where Pharaoh's army is, or how far it is to the other side. When the Lord shows you the way, then you must show you have the faith. Don't just stand around talking. When the waters part, start walking. If confusion faces you each day, that's the devil trying to have his way. Just pray for the Lord to open doors, then step through for things he has in store. Don't stand around thinking about how tall that wall of water is, or if that sea bottom's really dry. Don't spend your time wondering where Pharaoh's army is, or how far it is to the other side. When the Lord shows you the way, then you must show you have the faith. Don't just stand around talking. When the waters part, start walking. When the door opens, then you must go through. God has a reason to open it for you. Don't stand around thinking about how tall that wall of water is, or if that sea bottom's really dry. Don't spend your time wondering where Pharaoh's army is, or how far it is to the other side. When the Lord shows you the way, then you must show you have the faith. Don't just stand around talking. When the waters part, start walking.
That's Chosen Witness, and When the Waters Part, Start Walking, written by Johnny Duren. And I think you said that was, 2004, when y'all recorded that one, Neal, as I get your mic unmuted here. So is that right? 2004?
Yep, I believe that was right. 2004,
And,
yeah. That song was, or that project, we actually went to a studio and had musicians lay down the tracks and all, but we actually recorded those vocals in the basement of my house.
Yep.
Remember that day we spent all day long. Johnny was here all day. We just kind of bounced from room to room and talk about, hear some of them stories Johnny could tell, when we was listening back, and just, I remember that day vividly, almost 20 years ago. God, I can't believe it.
And just in case you were wondering, Eli Champion fans, yes, that is him over my left shoulder there. So if you want to wave back there in the background, Eli and I guess you'd say are batching this week. Everybody but us is at the beach in Panama City. Eli got to go down from Saturday until, when was that, Eli? Tuesday? Met Molly and her sister in Montgomery and brought Eli back because he's got band camp stuff that started yesterday. So an impromptu Eli appearance on the Champion Brothers broadcast this evening. So in case somebody was wondering about that, but listening to some looking at some comments, and want to say hey to some more folks. Margaret Richardson checking in, and Julia Hudson, Loretta Champion. Imagine that. She upstairs too.
She is.
And hey to Miss Kay Robertson and Ashley Mitchell and Charles Woodring and Tammy Court. Glad to have y'all with us tonight too. And I just want to say that. And Sis over in Jonesboro says, good night, boys. Hope you're okay. I don't know if she's going to bed on, I think yesterday, was Sis's birthday, if I remember right. So happy late birthday, Sis. Appreciate you so much. I was at the service. Todd Burkhalter was kind of conducting the service, and he asked for folks that had sung with Johnny before to get up and talk about it a little bit. And I was sharing with Carol before the service started. I said, should I tell the shut up story? And she told me to, so I did. And but I don't want to put you on the spot, so I will tell it while you're thinking, Neal. But did you have a funny Johnny story from the time with Chosen Witness that you want to share? And if you don't, that's fine. I just thought, or if you need me to talk while you think of something, that's fine too. But
Yeah, I'll think on it.
If you got one off the top of your head. But the shut up story was that when we were recording the album, that one right there, the only one that Faithful Friends has done at the Shellnut Studios, Randy and Scoot's studio down in Pensacola. We had gone down and did the basic tracks, and then they had added some stuff to it, and then we went back and did the vocals, and we were singing, recording the song "The Flowers Still Bloom." Well, when we started singing that, and like I said, we sung it the first time we ever sung together, and it was either that day or the next time that we sung that line that starts off the second verse. I can almost smell those homemade rolls from her old cook stove. And Ken would stand in the back and say, and biscuits too. And he just thought that was the funniest thing ever. And so did a lot of other folks. And sometimes he would literally get like right up into his microphone, and biscuits too. And sometimes it scared me. It was so loud. And we were in the studio recording that song, and Johnny, I think he only did maybe 2 takes of it, but in the first take, sure enough, he sung that line, and Ken said, and biscuits too. And Johnny turned and looked at him and said, shut up. And Johnny told us after the fact, because I just lost it. I was just like in the floor laughing, literally. And I'm like, okay. And but Johnny claimed later he didn't remember saying that. That's just how much in the zone he was when he was recording. And I don't know if I can pull this off or not. I don't think I can show just like a little clip. If I click on it, it's going to start. But let me do this. I'm going to play it, but look right behind Johnny's head and see.
It was called "When the Waters Part, Start Walking," and I always love that.
I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but behind Johnny in that shot was a thing that he had made, and I think it was 18, if I'm thinking right, the number of albums that Johnny had sung on through the years. Wow. And they had that up next to his casket at the service, and that was something special. So yeah, he's done a whole lot more recording than all of us put together, and then some, just about. So, but he left us a long legacy of some great songs and some great recordings too. So.
Yeah, when I think about Johnny funnies over the years, it's a lot of little ones, really, just things that he used to do that would just make you chuckle every time. Like he'd talk a lot of times about getting his merge wixed. He'd say, "Did you ever hear him say, Chris, I just keep getting my merge wixed?"
Yep.
Press the letters around, and he used to do a thing. I cannot do it, but it was something about where you thought you meant what you said. You're going to something thought did. Have you ever heard him do that? It was intense. And I'd just freeze and then bust out laughing every time he'd say it. One time we were singing down in South Alabama, Chosen Witness was, I remember, and me and Johnny and Loretta were in the vehicle going together. I guess the others were meeting us down there. Greg Harrelson that sang with us then he was working on the coast a lot. He probably just drove up from there. But it was just me and Loretta and Johnny riding down in South Alabama, and we was in a stretch where there was a lot of pasture land around, and you look off to the right, and there was some big old round, bales of hay, big round rolls that they'd roll up in the hay fields, and you know what I'm talking about? Those big round ones, like sometimes people paint them up, make them big giant pumpkins and stuff at Halloween.
You talking about the display down in Forkland?
Something like that, yeah. But we were just looking at a field where they had just, baled the hay up like that. So a lot of them big round bales was out there. And Johnny looked over there, I'm driving. I could see him in my rearview mirror. He looked over there. He said, Cal can't get a good square meal anymore. That was his take on the big round bales of hay. Just a lot of little things. Like he had so many little liners that would just, it was just so great. And he'd bring them at sometimes just the wrong time, because it'd be a time when you wouldn't want to laugh. He'd make you laugh. man. Make you laugh like crazy. Scott, I did you a favor. I'll tell you that tonight. I know you wasn't around Johnny a whole lot. You were a little bit when he's a part of Chosen Witness, but I was looking through pictures and I found a picture. I should have brought it, but it was Johnny was sitting there on the pew at the church, and you were like right in the center of the picture, and somebody caught you at a moment when you was like, it was you had a string on your face, and Johnny's sitting there looking at you, and let's just say you were a little bit more round in the face at that time.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you should have shared that one. That would have made me feel good.
Oh yeah, it would have for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That was back in the day. Yeah. Chris, on the Shut Up story. That's awesome. I hadn't heard that before, but man, if Randy could have pulled that off and y'all had added that at the end of the album, like for a little outtake, that would have been awesome.
It would have been, wouldn't it?
Oh man, we should have called you and reminded of that. And who knows? I don't know for sure if it was recording or not at that time. That may have been the pass through. I don't know, but yes, it was. It was hilarious. It was just things you just never expected in the middle of a recording session. Shut up.
That sounds like something from a Wendy Bagwell story. Big time.
And I promise you this, Ken Cook never said "and biscuits too" as a singing when we sung that song ever again. I don't think. So. At least not to where anybody could hear it.
Yeah.
So, look here. Stephen Adair checking in. He ain't got anything to do tonight. The Stooges, see, there's somebody else. Three of my friends. Good to see you, gentlemen. Yeah, I like your new hair too, Stephen. Yeah, that's pretty good there on that picture.
It's amazing what those pills would do.
Yeah.
I'm going through the joke Rolodex. Can't use that one. Can't use that one.
All
right. So moving right along.
In July, did you hear about these guys? You know any of them that's coming to Fayette, Alabama? July.
Yes, 20th? Get us back on track, brother. You mean these folks right here?
Yeah, them. You know some of them, Scott?
Just a few. Yeah. These are some of my favorite folks in the industry. I was thinking about, I guess I really got exposed to the tribute quartet. I can't remember the year, but Jason Baines and I went to NQC, the National Quartet Convention, when it was still up in Louisville. And Jason introduced me to them. Jason knew them very well because while he was traveling with the McKeithans and the Galloways, Josh Singletary and Gary Casto traveled with the Wilburns during that time. And so they did a lot of dates together and garnered a friendship. So Jason introduced me to him. And through that connection, it was really cool. Back then, the NQC used to sponsor something called Fire in the Choir, where worship leaders could go to NQC and basically didn't have to buy tickets. You could go to all the events, but then you also had some showcases and workshops that you could go to, like for your worship leading. Yeah. But anyway, it was a great networking opportunity because that led to us getting several groups at Kennedy Baptist. And I know we got the Ball Brothers and Steve Ladd and the Nealans, but one of the first groups we got was from that meeting, and that was a tribute quartet. It was back, of course, Josh and Gary, and they had Riley Clark and Anthony Davis, and they had just been named Horizon Group of the Year, I think, the previous year. They were really up and coming. And they've had so many hit songs like Good News in Jerusalem, Homecoming Day from that group. And then they've made some changes over the year. Now they've got Gus with them and Ian, but they're just, the last hit that they had come out was I Call It Home, the old Squire Parson classic, and it just went to #1 on the charts. But these guys are nominated in Top Male Quartet year in, year out. Just awesome guys, awesome friends of mine. When Tribute Quartet goes to the stage, you get a whole lot. Yes, you're going to get awesome quality singing. You're going to get a lot of tradition. They do a lot of old, they do some albums they call, let me get this straight, Tribute Quartet Tribute. And they have volumes where they go back and they pick up the old songs from the classic quartets and re-record those. And they'll bring that to the stage. They also have some more modern Southern gospel. You'll laugh. There's a lot of humor. They really put on, and I don't have a problem with that. I think used to with the Melody Boys, Jonathan Salvery was pretty big at laying it out there, not going to apologize for doing a little entertaining with the crowd. Because, we're there, yes, to worship the Lord, but Christians should be happy and joyful and laugh and have a good time and fellowship together. And you're definitely going to get that with Tribute Quartet. You're going to laugh. but also you're gonna be brought to the throne. You're gonna worship Jesus. You're gonna probably shed a tear or two before the night's over with. And of course, finishing out the lineup, we got the great Faithful Friends and Chosen Witness is going to be there, and it's going to be such a great night of music. And we need folks to be there. 6 p.m. July 29th at the Fett Civic Center, Fett, Alabama. We don't issue tickets. We don't charge at the door. We do ask for you to help partner with us in helping to make this happen, because it does cost something to have groups like this. I mean, if y'all have noticed, in all of these, this is the fifth one that's been done.
Yep.
It's been top quality Southern gospel music brought to Fett, Alabama. I mean, small town, West Alabama, like we used to have. We used to have this all over the place in our churches and at different venues. And that's what the guys started bringing, several years ago, and that's what you're still getting. But there's a cost to it. So we would love for you to, come and bring a bus load. Go rent a bus, fill it up, rent vans, fill it up, fill up those chairs, and then you'll have an opportunity to partner with us through a love offering that will be received. But man, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah, it's not, the Fayette Civic Center is not a huge venue. I mean, there is literally limited seating. So,
right.
I would love to have the problem of getting people at the door saying, I'm sorry, there's just not any more seats. But and if we get the word to enough of you folks, that'll happen, I believe.
Oh yeah. When we had them I think we had them at Kennedy maybe 3 or 4 times. And Tribute Quartet, they draw their own crowd. I mean, we had folks come from Georgia. We had folks come from Birmingham, from the Huntsville area. We had folks come from all around. And that little church, I say little church, it's a bigger church in our little area, but its seating was around 200, 210. And there was a couple of their concerts that folks were standing in the back. So, I mean, you come and you're going to hear some good music. And if I can say one more thing, I haven't done this in a lot of our concerts lately, but I am going to set up the SGMA table if you guys are still okay with that, and give people an opportunity. We're going to get the SGMA to advertise this next week, and also, so if you come and you join us, we're going to be giving away some NQC tickets next Saturday. So we'll during the offering time, you could put something into the buckets, and we're going to draw from that and give away a couple of sets of tickets to the National Quartet Convention coming up in September.
Good deal.
Yep.
Well, here's an idea. You mentioned the quartet tribute, and I just happened to pull a couple of songs from that. And,
awesome.
From those 2 albums. I think I'm in the mood for this one right now. The Tribute Quartet, and a song called Go Right Out. Well, let's listen.
Somebody ought to go and work for Jesus. So many souls are lost in sin. Somebody ought to tell them of salvation. Somebody ought to go right out and help to bring them in. Somebody ought to go right out and help to bring them in. Somebody ought to preach salvation to a world of sin. Go preach it. There is not a doubt about it, you can win. And if you ain't already started, now's the time to begin. Go out and preach the word of Jesus, preach it far and wide. Don't ever be a Thomas, God will be your guide. And you can be a pilot and a blessing to men. Oh brother, go right out and help to bring the wonders in.
Verse 2.
Somebody ought to tell the wonder story, how Jesus died for fallen men. Somebody ought to volunteer for Jesus. Somebody ought to go right out and help to bring them in. Somebody ought to go right out and help to bring them in. Somebody ought to bring salvation to the world of sin. Go preach it. There is not a doubt about it, you can win. And if you ain't already started, now's the time to begin. Go Go out and preach the word of Jesus, preach it far and wide. Don't ever be a tyrant, promise God will be your guide. And you can be a pilot and a blessing to men. Oh, brother, go right out and help to bring the wonders in. Somebody ought to go right out and help to bring them in. Somebody ought to preach salvation to a world of sin. Go preach it. There is not a doubt about it, you can win. And if you ain't already done it, now's the time to begin. Go out and preach the word of Jesus, preach it far and wide. Don't ever be a doubting Thomas, God will be your guide. And you can be a pilot and a blessing to men. Oh, brother, go right out and help to bring the wonders in. Go out and preach the word of Jesus, preach it far and wide. Don't ever be a doubting Thomas, God will be your guide. And you can be a pilot and a blessing to men. Oh, brother, go right out and help to bring the wonders in.
A tribute indeed. Quartet tribute. Now that's the project that Ian was on, right? The current bass singer. That was him singing bass.
Yes, they cut it originally with Anthony Davis, and then they went back and recut the part with Ian. So there's two versions of that project available.
Yeah, Ian Owens, the son of longtime bass singer Butch Owens, and I could hear a little of his dad in there on that song right there on that particular cut. And another thing about Ian is I have not had the opportunity to be around him a whole lot. I don't know him that well, but I saw a side of him at the Quartet show that made me just want to. I think I'm going to talk to him a little bit. I mean, it was a funny kind of thing. I mean, just real quick, there's ladies there at the Quartet show, Memphis Quartet show, that are taking photos all week long. Just basically doing a photo diary of the whole week. And one of them knelt down right beside a place where he was sitting. He had come in to hear the group that was on the stage at that time. And she knelt down and had her camera up, and he saw her and reached over there and reached up and put two fingers right in front of her lens. She had a big, fairly long lens. and she did like this, and he pulled it down, and then, then she went back, and he had her going for a while. I thought, oh, okay, he's got a little funny streak in him.
Yeah, that's the Mill sisters with Ex Nihilo Media. They travel to a lot of these big venues and do that. So yeah, they and the groups they have a lot of shenanigans together. It's pretty funny.
Did you see what Stephen Adair put a while ago? He may not still be on here, but did you see that comment, Chris?
Yes. Let me bring. Yeah, there you go. Stephen add hair.
Let me just say,
bless him.
It has been made a matter of prayer that we are going to figure out how to have Mark Trammell Quartet in Fayette, Alabama at one of these events as we go. I'll just put that out there and say that, and we'll press forward. All right. Why is that so funny, Chris?
I don't know. Well, I do know, but I can't. You get on me if I went all Paul Harvey, and let me tell you the rest of the story. No, not gonna do it. All right.
Thank you.
How about another tribute quartet song from one of their quartet tribute albums? That all right? We all good?
What we got?
I want to play "Come On, Let's Go to That Land."
Good.
I don't know if they're still doing their sets right, but this will be right before Josh's Power and the Blood instrumental. But it's a good one. Let's listen to the tribute quartet, and come on, let's go to that land.
Let's go to that land.
Come on, let's go to that land.
Where
milk and honey flow.
Come on,
come on,
come on,
come on.
It's a better
land, I know.
With
abounding hearts will make us start.
We're trusting
in our God.
Come on,
come on,
come on,
come on.
All aboard.
All aboard. Let's go to that land. Come on, let's go to that land. Where milk and honey flow.
Come on,
come on,
come on,
come on.
It's a better
land, I know.
With
abounding hearts will make us start.
We're
trusting in our God.
Come on,
come on,
come on,
come on.
All aboard.
All aboard. Let's go to that land.
There'll be no tears of sorrow, no more crying over there. For every day will be Sunday in that city so bright and fair. We'll walk with all of the angels all around the great white throne.
It'll be a happy, happy day. when I get home.
Let's go to that line.
Let's go to that land where milk and honey flow.
Come on,
Come on,
come on,
come on.
it's a better
And I know
with a
abounding
bounding
hearts will make us start.
We're trusting.
We're trusting in our God.
Come on,
Come on,
come on,
come on.
all aboard.
Come on, let's go to that land
all aboard.
where milk and honey flow.
All aboard.
It's a better land I
Let's go to
know.
that line.
Come on, let's go to that land
where
where milk and honey flow.
Come on,
Come on,
come on,
come on.
it's a better
And I know
with a bounding
abounding hearts will make us start.
We're trusting.
We're trusting in our God.
Come on,
Come on,
come on,
come on.
all aboard.
All aboard, let's go to that land.
We'll sing,
Sing,
shout,
shout, praise His name.
every day.
Every day will be the same.
Come on,
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 come on, come on.
all aboard.
All aboard, let's go.
The Tribute Quartets. Come on, let's go to that land here on the Champion Brothers broadcast on this, what is Thursday night? Yes, we're back on our Thursday schedule, aren't we?
It is. Indeed.
Indeed. Scott, I want to ask you something.
Ask away.
Turn your camera off for a second, because I noticed this a while ago
What'd I do?
that you've got the
What changed?
Southern Gospel Spin. Now turn your camera back on. What is that?
Well, I forgot to change that back to the SBM Studios logo, but right now I am working. I had about a 2-year lull. I had some podcast things going, interviewed a lot of the Southern Gospel folks, and that kind of life just kind of cut that tree down for a little bit, and just kind of had a couple of years of lull, and my studio got turned into a storage building for a while. And anyway, I don't know, about a month ago, I snapped out of it and been cleaning up and doing some preparation, and going to get back into it. And 2 things I've got going, right? It's all part of the SBM Studios, but I'm going to start doing the Southern Gospel Spin, which is just going to be back with the interview series with Southern Gospel artists. And that's going to be Jason Baines is going to join in with me on that, and we're going to get into that together. He is, again, as I said earlier, he's traveled the road and has a lot of friendships in the industry and has a lot of road stories with some of these guys. So we're going to partner up on that. And then the other thing that I really haven't talked about much at all is I've been talking with some young folks, and I don't know how many of them are going to be able to jump on, but I've been talking with Avery and Evan Bradford, some big power Southern Gospel fans from the Empire, Hayden, Alabama, Warrior, Alabama area, and Riley Wheeler from over in Georgia. He is another very big young Southern guy, and he's tall too. He's big, and he's a big as far as super fan goes. We're talking about doing something called Southern Gospel Forward, and it's going to be a focus on young youth in Southern Gospel, young artists, and young fans, and a way, hopefully this is going to grow into something that's a community for, maybe social media community, gather up in some places like some of the big things, big events like NQC, stuff like that, and get the young fans and the young artists together, and then also do some interviews and stuff like that to promote it, because, there is this perception that Southern Gospel is old folks music. And I take exception to that, because if it was just old folks music, then once a group of old folks passed on, then it would die, and it just keeps going and going and going. And I have seen a lot of venues lately with a lot of fresh faces and young folks. And we've got a lot of young folks that's stepping up on the stage right now and preparing to be the next generation in Southern Gospel. And we got a lot of young super fans. And I just want to encourage that. I want to help grow that. I really want to promote that. And even in part with SGMA, I want to get the SGMA in front of the young folks, to teach them the heritage of the music and the history of the music, and then carry that forward. So 2 things coming. I don't have a date set yet to start dropping those and doing it, but we're working. So we're going to do it. So
you're the old guy that's going to shepherd all the young people. Is that what I got out of all that?
Well, I'm one of those. I got two things. First of all, I'm one that always
You
has
took
these,
offense at that, and you shouldn't have.
no. It's a good. I'm really glad you asked me that question because I'm the guy who thinks about things and don't carry through a lot of times. And then plus,
Congratulations, you're normal.
but also, I used to do this in ministry. I was told by a pastor one time that I was weird. I'm like, you think? But anyway, because when I led worship, my big thing was letting young folks come in and help lead the worship, and then like me getting off the stage and let them have it so it would grow and teach others to do and take it, because there's nothing special about this guy, and I sure don't need a spotlight. And so my hope is yes, I'm going to be the old guy kind of shepherding this thing, but I really would like to see Riley, Avery and Evan, and maybe some of the young artists take this, and then I'll just kind of slide back, to the younger thing and just kind of let them have it, because I'm fixing to turn that big 5-0, so I'm way too old for Southern Gospel Forward.
5-0?
Yep. Y'all remember holding me?
Oh,
I see. I can't remember. I know at one point I had a picture of, I think me holding you. I think
I sent you one time. I know.
Yeah, I think I may have taken it off, but fun. That's like up at the water park now. I said like 95% of the kids, it's lifeguards. I said, I'm comfortably old enough to be your grandfather. You do realize that, right?
Yep.
Well, let's see. Do what?
I was just going to say it wasn't but a few days ago that Papa would be hollering at y'all, don't hurt that baby.
Yep.
Well, yes, while you were just beating the tar out of us, jumping all over us, and it's hollered us not to hurt that baby. Yeah,
that's right.
Let's play another tribute song. You talked a while ago about I Call It Home, which was Song of the Year for 21, I think.
That's right.
But as of, I think, the latest Singing News chart, they've got the #1 song off of their brand new project called Always Grace, called Halfway Up the Mountain. Y'all hear that? Good.
That's great. Spin it.
Let's play the tribute quartet and their current top song, and Halfway Up the Mountain.
We have come too far to turn back now. There's an end inside we see, and the Lord has brought us safe thus far with His grace and perfect peace. But too many battles have been lost with the finish line in sight. So let us keep the faith and win this race before the day turns into night. When you're halfway up the mountain, there's no time to rest a while. When you're halfway to your victory, you must go that extra mile. Just keep pressing on, though the road is long. When your feet get tired, still you must walk on. Oh, when you're halfway up the mountain, just keep climbing to the top. With our back to every valley low, in the land of shadows dark, let our eyes be lifted to the skies, for the triumph shall be ours. We have been here many times before, and we've never been alone. In every circumstance, He's not failed us yet, so let us just keep traveling on. When you're halfway up the mountain, there's no time to rest a while. When you're halfway to your victory, you must go that extra mile. Just keep pressing on, though the road is long. When your feet get tired, still you must walk on. Oh, when you're halfway up the mountain, Just keep climbing to the top. When you're halfway up the mountain, there's no time to rest a while. When you're halfway to your victory, you must go that extra mile. Just keep pressing on, though the road is long. When your feet get tired, still you must walk on. Oh, when you're halfway up the mountain, just keep climbing to the top. Just keep pressing on, though the road is long. When your feet get tired, still you must walk on. Oh, when you're halfway up the mountain, just keep climbing to the top. Keep on climbing.
Just climbing to the top.
Climbing to the top.
Tribute Quartet, halfway up the mountain here on the Champion Brothers broadcast. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight.
If
Let's
I'm
get
not
caught up and
mistaken-
say, go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe both that song and that album are up for Dove Award nomination this year. That
Yeah.
for Southern Gospel Song of the Year, and that album for Southern Gospel album.
Is that what you was talking about?
You know, that's exactly what
Oh,
I
that's
was
Singing
kind of
News.
talking about. but
Singing
close.
News top 5.
Yeah, they're in the Singing News Awards as well. But yeah, they're actually Dove Award nominated this year. Now go right ahead to what you were going to do.
I don't remember what I was going to say now.
Probably show that one of my extended family, Janice Owens, had.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Say hey to some more folks right quick. And yeah, thank you for getting me back on track there. Mallory joining in, saying, hope y'all are having a great evening. We are. Brad Shackelford says, evening, guys. Brad is singing the baritone part for Faithful Friends now. I will never say that he has taken Johnny's place because nobody could do that, but he is filling that baritone role. We'll say that, and doing an outstanding job of it. Glad to have you with us tonight, Brad. And Mal was talking about our young people discussion a while ago. So there was a lot of young people at Jackson Sings the Gospel in Jackson, Tennessee a week or so ago. And the aforementioned Janice Owens saying hello from Fayette, Alabama. So appreciate y'all. And some other folks, Jeremy Simmons, the piano playing barber from over around Barry's, checking in with us tonight. Hope you can come be with us a week from Saturday at the Civic Center, Jeremy. And my buddy Todd Winery over in Tuscaloosa, and Jim Varnon also checking in. Glad to have all y'all with us tonight. So we kind of just been going off the cuff tonight, and started off remembering our friend Johnny Duren, who passed away a little over a week ago, and had his homegoing service last Friday. And then we're talking about the singing coming up at the Fayette Civic Center a week from Saturday night, July 29th at 6 o'clock. Don't cost you anything to get in. The Tribute Quartet, which we've been playing some of their songs here in the back half of the program, will be there along with Chosen Witness and Faithful Friends, and hope you will be there too. A lot of you been telling us that you were coming. We're going to hold you to it. So if you're not there at start time, we know where most of you live. We may just send somebody to come get you and bring you up there. So.
In the state of Alabama, a verbal contract is binding.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. Tune in for Champion Brothers broadcast. You'll get Southern Gospel and also legal tips now as well. So, but I want to circle back around because right before we started this evening, Neal, you mentioned one other song that you had pulled of Johnny's, of him singing it. And you didn't have to be around Johnny Duren for long before you were going to hear a story or a mention of Jerry House, who was his longtime singing partner. And they sung together at a contest on the Grand Ole Opry back in the 50s, and wrote a lot of songs together, did a lot of singing together down through the years. And a song that Jerry House wrote that Johnny Duren had the first recording on. And then it was covered by a couple of groups like, I don't know, the Inspirations and the Kingsmen, just to name a couple. But the Fa Sol La song, Neal, you want to say anything about that before we play it?
Oh yeah, Johnny was proud to be a friend of Jerry House and was a friend to him his whole life. Jerry passed just a few years back, but yeah, Johnny was always telling stories about Jerry, and he was proud to be around when this song came to be. And yeah, well, people have heard it by the Inspirations, heard it by the Kingsmen, but the Songs of Faith from right there in Gordo, Alabama, in 1972, that was the original. I mean, that's the recording I believe that both the Kingsmen and the Inspirations heard when the song was pitched to them. And so, yeah, a young Johnny Duren, that was what, 51 years ago. So much younger Johnny singing all the verses on this song. And yeah, I just wanted to share that recording tonight.
Well, let's play it right now. Here's Johnny Duren and the Songs of Faith and the Reverend Everett Beverly and Sister Anna Laura.
It was way down deep south during the Reconstruction days when everybody needed help in every kind of way. Traveling in an oxen cart and picking an old guitar was Reverend Everett Beverly and Sister Anna Laura. They went to all-day singings with the dinners on the ground. When Sister Anna Laura sang, no one could quiet her down. The folks would spread the word around. They'd come from near and far. Here's Reverend Everett Beverly and Sister Anna Laura. From so love, from so love, from so love, my soul. We sing the fly so high and so low, from so love, my soul. When they would leave the singings, folks followed them out of town. They kept on to hear them singing that good soul-saving sound. Their songs echoed the valleys just like the heavenly choir. Mr. Everett Beverly and Sister Anna Laura. I'm so love, I'm so love, I'm so love, my soul. They sing the fly so high and the so low, I'm so love, my soul. For years and years they traveled and their singing was heard, while Sister Anna Laura sang, the Reverend spread the word. And the family recollections remembers who they are. It was great-great-grandpa Beverly and Grandpa Anna Laura. On the so love, on the so love, on the so love, my soul. You sing the fly so high, and the so low, on the so love, my soul. On the so love, on the so love, on the so love, my soul. They sang the fall so high
and the so low.
For me so love my soul. For me so love my soul.
The Songs of Faith Quartet and the Reverend Everett Beverly and Sister Anna Laura, the Fa Sol La song. What a great one it is. Faithful Friends actually did that a couple of times. We'd be somewhere and somebody would ask for it, and we happened to have the track, and we'd load it up, and Johnny sung it just as good as he ever did.
Same way with Chosen Witness. There were times just off of the cuff. We just joined in on the chorus.
Yep. And Miss Carol says, looking forward to being in Fayette. Looking forward to seeing you, Miss Carol. And
yeah, sure.
I don't let too much of the cat out of the bag, but we're going to do some special stuff to honor and remember Johnny at the singing on the 29th. One more time. Whose turn is it? I think we're back to you, Scott. Take the lead and tell us about this one more time.
Do the commercial. All right. Yes. The Night of Southern Gospel Music coming to the Fett Civic Center on July 29th at 6 p.m. featuring Tribute Quartet from Nashville, Tennessee, one of the top male quartets in Southern Gospel music, joined by Faithful Friends and Chosen Witness. Starts at 6 p.m. We'll open up the doors about 5 p.m. No pushing, no shoving, just ease on in and pick your seat, and going to have a great time. No tickets to be purchased. You can get in free, but you got to pay to leave. No, I'm just kidding. You can get in free.
Easy.
Easy. I heard that's a joke I borrowed from somebody else in Southern Gospel. But anyway, we want you to come joining us and just enjoy yourself. Come looking for a blessing, because you're going to find one if you show up and join us for the night of worship.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And sorry, I had to put my spectacles on because I was trying to do some reading and stuff. You didn't go as long as I thought you was going to on that.
Sorry about
So
that.
y'all caught me off guard, but that's all right. Now we
Here.
got to get that here. Oh, here. All right. There we go. Now, anything else, boys, that y'all want to talk about? We're at hour and 10 minutes. That's a pretty good little
Just one thing.
program.
One thing I wanted to say that really stuck out at me at Johnny's homegoing service. I mean, what a celebration of his life that was. It was really great to be there and be a part of that. But Todd Burkhalter that basically led the service, he shared something that really stuck with me, and it sounded so like Johnny for sure. I mean, just the knowledge he had about singing, about being on stage, about delivering a song, about singing harmony. And Todd said he asked him one time about, said he was wanting to sing baritone, Todd was. And it's just such a hard, difficult part, Johnny said. How do you do it? And Johnny looked at him and said, you just listen for what's not there. And that's your part.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. I don't know, maybe lots of people have said that, but that's the first time I'd heard it put that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's accurate.
It's so much nailed, Johnny.
Yeah. I always said the baritone's the glue that holds all the rest of it all together. So,
Yep.
Well, boys, enjoyed it tonight. Anything else y'all want to share or tell? Or
I was going to say thank y'all. I was just going to say thank y'all for inviting me to come hang out. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Anytime. Well, I figure it'll be next week sometime. I don't know if it'll be Thursday at 7 or whenever it is, we'll be here. But we have reached out to the Tribute. Don't know if they're going to make themselves available or be available to join us. It's a possibility, but we'll just have to wait and see. You never know.
I do think if it's live, it will probably have to be a Monday or a Tuesday because I think or Wednesday, because I think Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, of course Saturday they're going to be with us, but Thursday and Friday they are booked and have concerts at night. So
I just took a peek while ago, and they are in Salisbury, North Carolina tonight. So maybe they see us talking about them later. Going down the road, Gary's chimed in a couple of times when we've done this on a different night when they were able, but just make your plans. A week from Saturday night, July 29th, Fayette Civic Center, 6:00, and just come and have a great night with us. Eli, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here? Bye. He's been studying intently on something all night. I don't know what it is, but it ain't schoolwork, I hope, because it ain't time for that yet. But close. But anyway, but y'all hopefully just whatever channel you're listening to us or watching us on, Facebook or YouTube or whatever, just keep your eyes open. And when we get it all scheduled, we'll put it out there and hope y'all can come back and be with us whenever next time is, because we will be here. Whenever next time is, we'll be here. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.